So one of Ivanka Trump's stated goals was to get some sort of family leave. Apparently, she found that policy to be very, well, popular. And it is. And so this is something that she found to be very important. Now, speaking of the popularity, in a 2016 Fortune Morning Consult poll, 83% of Democrats and 71% of Republicans are in favor. And again, this was one of her priorities. So now she has teamed up with Marco Rubio in order to craft a plan. Now, that plan, of course, any plan for paid family leave would involve winning over skeptical Republican congressmen. But wait a minute. 71% of Republicans support this policy. Why would the politicians be skeptical of passing this kind of legislation? Well, it turns out the devil's in the details. Now, according to Politico, Rubio is trying to marshal Republicans behind a plan that would neither impose a mandate on employers nor raise taxes to pay for it. Two hurdles that have long halted the GOP from embracing paid family leave. So they want paid family leave, but they don't want to pay for it. Fascinating. Now, Rubio said in an interview with Politico, "We still have to work on members of my own party. I think there will be significant initial resistance to it because it's just not an issue that has been identified with the Republican Party." But wait a minute. I thought Republicans called themselves the party of family values. Isn't a big part of family values helping families be able to actually spend time with each other and not have to work all the time, especially when babies are born, and you need that time to develop that family bond within the first few months of post giving birth? Well, again, if you were actually pro-family, then you would be massively in favor of any sort of plan, no matter where the funding comes from. But again, this goes to their priorities, right? We cannot tax, we're not allowed to tax the beloved corporations or the rich. Doesn't matter if it's a pro-family position. It doesn't matter if 71% of your base said, yes, we would like family leave, and we would like for it to be paid for through the government. Don't care about that. All the Republican congressmen care about are their donors. And of course, the donors do not want to pay for this. So here's their idea. Marco Rubio has envisioned an idea that has recently gained traction in conservative circles, allowing people to draw Social Security benefits when they want to take time off for a new baby or other family-related matters, and then delay their checks when they hit retirement age. So basically, they're like, yeah, go ahead and rob your future retirement so you can, if you want to spend time with your kids. At least we're not paying for it. No, you're going to pay for it because, you take 3 months off to spend time with your brand new family. Again, we're pro-family. We're pro-life. So you want to spend time with your kids? Okay. So you're just going to have to retire later. Take 3 months off. You have to extend your thing till for 3 months, your retirement for 3 months. Sad day for you. You should have been born rich. That's gross. Now, Rubio said, quote, "That's a new idea for Republicans who still identify it as something that comes out of the left. But this isn't a left idea. This is a bipartisan idea." Again, 83% of Democrats, 71% of Republicans. This is a incredibly popular bipartisan idea. And yet, Rubio's like, it's left wing, comes out of the left. So are you saying right there, you admitting that the GOP is not pro-family? That the GOP is simply pro-corporation? Well, thank you for that honesty, Marco Rubio. Now he says, quote, and by the way, before I get to this quote, it is important to note for context that he is also against not only taxing corporations and the wealthy to pay for this, but also against putting this family leave, paid family leave, as mandatory as most other countries do. He said forcing companies to provide it is perhaps an idea that finds its genesis in the left, but the notion that pregnancy should not be bankruptcy eliciting event is one that I think all Americans should be supportive. I actually agree with that, right? And there's a lot of people, I mean, look, in America, Do you know how much pregnancy costs? $40,000 to give birth. That doesn't include time off, right? Now, we could fix that by instituting some form of single payer so that it doesn't cost $40,000 to give birth. I hear it's very popular in places that have it, which happens to be every other industrialized nation on earth. But no, instead of that, or taxing the wealthy to pay for it, no, we're going to make you pay for it out of your retirement. That's our big idea. That's our big idea. And if the left blocks it, well, then they're obviously not pro-family. So now, of course, while they did say, Rubio admits that there's a lot of opposition to this, which is crazy. It's not right-wing enough, so it's got opposition. It is gaining traction with some Republicans. Again, in late January, Senator Mike Lee privately pitched the concept to Ivanka Trump, who gave it a warm reception and is now helping out. Now, this is according to one person familiar with the meeting. Now, Lee is, of course, a close ally of Marco Rubio, and they lobbied for expanding the child tax credit, an Ivanka-backed effort that prompted Rubio to nearly tank the tax bill in the final days of the overhaul. However, he ultimately voted for it. So now, the article notes that that Rubio is trying to put this together. He doesn't actually have a plan, but what he's floating is kind of what he thinks the plan is going to look like in the end, and he's trying to get support for it. So there's a chance that this could end up even more right-wing, or just not materialize at all. But in private conversations with senators, Ivanka has discussed hiking payroll taxes, otherwise paying into Social Security, to create a new personal paid leave fund, according to multiple senior GOP sources. So think about that, right? So the Marco Rubio idea is, hey, let's just have you borrow against your own retirement. Ivanka is, let's increase your taxes, your payroll taxes, or make you pay another tax into a private leave fund. Those are both incredibly regressive taxes on you. Now, a lot of Republicans, they don't like that idea either, and they say that any plan to raise taxes, especially to create what would effectively be a new entitlement, would hit automatic resistance among Republicans. So, okay, it's not the fact that they're creating a new tax on you. We don't care. We'll create new taxes on the middle class all day, as long as it means that our rich donors can pay less. But no, you're creating a new entitlement. We hate those. The only people we feel is entitled to money are the rich, and they're entitled to your money. But you're not entitled to their money. No, so they're actually against that. Now, Rubio argues, and this is fun, he says that this plan would benefit those with lower incomes, since they're less likely to work for companies that proactively offer paid leave. But again, those people are more than likely to not have a retirement account set up. They wouldn't have a 401k to live off of. So the end result of this is that, yes, they could borrow more time earlier in their life, and then later on, they would have to retire a lot later. Now, people who work, who earn lower incomes often work the more demanding jobs. So those are the people that work in the factories. Those are the people that work in restaurants and things like that. Again, very physically demanding, what they call low-skill jobs. So the problem with low-skill jobs is they wear out your body faster. So, hey, man, you borrow against that Social Security, your retirement. You borrow a total of a year. Now suddenly you can't retire until you're 66. And that says nothing if the Republicans, don't touch retirement benefits, which there's the thing that a lot of Republicans want to actually increase the retirement age. So if they increase the entire retirement age to 70 and you borrow a year's time, if this goes through, well, now you're not going to be able to retire until you're 71. It's likely that working those jobs will wear out your body far before then. Then what are you going to do? You're fucked. Work till you die. And that's the Republican plan. Work till you die. Now, one more thing here. from the article. He says he also disputes the pure free market view that businesses will eventually provide leave because employees will demand it. Well, that's true. He says there's no evidence of that's the case anywhere, particularly down to the $20,000, $30,000, $35,000 range. Well, yeah, that's a no-brainer. Yeah, of course, these companies will not offer paid leave. That's kind of why we need a mandate, like every other industrialized nation that actually has a mandate and says that, yes, old companies must provide X amount of paid leave. And the argument from conservative Republicans is like, no, the free market will decide. And here's Marco Rubio saying, no, it won't. We have no evidence of that. Nonetheless, I'm still opposing a mandate. Because even though I know the truth, my donors say that we don't want that. We don't want your government mandates. We want to be able to still screw over our employees to make an extra buck. Well, yep. So I guess so far, the plan is either end up paying a higher tax, a more regressive tax, or have to rob from your retirement if you want to spend time with your kids. That's the American way, apparently, when it comes to family leave. It's a good example of the Republican Party in action, Republican governance in action, taking a provision that would actually be incredibly popular and enacting it or trying to enact it in a way that will screw people over in the long run, all while protecting the rich and corporations, who, by the way, just got handed a $1.5 trillion giveaway, in which 83% of that benefits those people. Goes right into their pockets. This is how they screw you. What more is there to say? Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.